The most important part to any zoo is the animals in the enclosures they call home. Throughout the series, I'll be designing different enclosures for an array of animals, whilst also keeping guest interaction at the forefront of every build. Join me each week as I tackle a new enclosure and idea and try and bring it to life within Planet Zoo. Today I'm going to be building a reptile house, and this is going to work a little different to previous episodes as I'll be building on from the crocodile enclosure that I built previously. So this will all sit on this side of the building and we'll finish this all off. I'm not going to showcase the sort of species I'll be housing in this reptile house as there's quite a few and we'll be here for a while, but you can expect the usual snakes, spiders and bugs all in one big building here around the back of the crocodile house. Cracking straight on with the build, these come with pre-built exhibits, very similar to the sloth previously, but these are quite smaller exhibits and they come in these square shapes. So I started off by placing these all round just in a random order. I later found out this didn't work. I spent a huge amount of time just trying to configure these exhibits in the best way possible, and I later worked out a brilliant design and also fixed all those individual pathways. With the pathways all organised and the exhibits laid out how I wanted, it finally came on to theming the walls, which I wanted a very similar style to the crocodile house so that it flowed right through into the reptile house. I also used a lot of foliage around the edges as well, very similar to the crocodile enclosure, to carry on that theme throughout the whole building. This took up a huge chunk of the build because the pre-built exhibits is again just ticking boxes, very similar to the sloth enclosures. So I found to sort of show off my artistic style, I had to plant stuff around the edge of the build instead of in the habitats themselves. As you can see on screen now, this came all the fiddly bit of trying to set everything up, making sure the right windows were closed. And obviously blocked the view from each enclosure, and it was trying to get the temperatures right for each animal. So this was a very long and tedious process and actually took a large chunk of my time from the build. So I spent a huge amount of time trying to sort all this out. This goes on for a huge amount of time because there is quite a few exhibits. Even though it does look like a spacious build and lots of empty space, I do fill this up with theming and benches, because another thing I found with this building is guests weren't really entering it. I'm not sure why, so I was trying to work out what was the best thing to do. I even included speakers and added music into this building just to add a bit of atmosphere, and eventually once I filled all the enclosures up with multiple animals, it seemed to improve the guest flow. This is towards the back end of the zoo, which I do plan to build more enclosures for later on, just so there's a bit more flow throughout the zoo. I'm still going around many of the exhibits here in the reptile house. What the enclosures to the right, I don't actually show that on screen because it was just getting very tedious, but it is nice to see these enclosures come together, and obviously the different styles with the desert, the rainforest, the swamps, and it's just nice to have that variety throughout the build. Stepping away from the exhibits for a little bit, I wanted to theme this up a bit more. I didn't want just the foliage. I knew I wanted some boundaries like these fences around the edge, and I do later add some rock work around the base of all the exhibits just to take away from those black walls that sort of feature and just add different depths to the exhibits themselves. Whilst I was theming up the ground of this building, I did realise there was quite a bit of height to it as well, and a lot of empty space above that I needed to fill. So I later fill all this with more foliage, some vines, just so there is stuff to look at when you are looking up. With each build, I am trying to improve my theming techniques, and I feel like this is the best one yet so far. Each one I do, I feel like I'm adding more depth and different materials to each one just to add that pop of an effect. This is also the first build that I place things in the middle of the path, which obviously guests will just walk through anyway because that's what the game is like. But it was nice to just theme up different bits instead of always sticking around the edge of a build. There is lots of back and forth with this build because the main thing is the actual building itself, as the exhibits are done and they're all themed up and the animals are happy in there once the temperature controls are done. I definitely enjoyed this build, and it is nice to do something a little bit different, but we're not done yet as we have got the roof to do. So here are the picnic benches I mentioned, and I do add some planters with some really big palm trees, hence why there is a load of height to this build. And I did have to raise the whole building all the way round because the original slope roof wouldn't have been high enough. And as you can see, I'm going through many different plants here, trying to find the right one, because I had an idea in mind and I finally found the one I wanted. This is a very similar design to the one I used in the California sea lion enclosure, and it was nice to use them again. Here I'm going around just adding more foliage just to break up that pathway, because even though I'd sorted the pathway and had it how I wanted it, there was quite a lot of pathway that I wanted to fill in. Here I am just adding a bit of theming up high, just trialing things before I put the roof in. I made a start on the roof off camera. As you can see, I've done the corners here, and it's just a case of copying and pasting the crocodile roof over to this part of the build. I'm really happy this has all come together now. I've been really keen to do it because it has felt weird just having that little bit left of the crocodile house, and it's nice to finish it all off. I definitely want to look at building more enclosures at this end of the zoo.